Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are. How's it going, Titans? How's it going, David? How's it going, John?
It's going fantastic, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It is early morning here. I'm sipping my coffee, getting ready, getting hyped for an exciting Titan talk today.
All right. We're excited too. John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Lovely to be here. Lovely to see you both. And yeah, it's a glorious day in England. Another fine 14, no, maybe 12, maybe 10 degrees. I don't know. Raining, nice and wet,
Just keeps
nice
getting
and
colder.
grey.
It
Yeah,
just keeps getting colder.
glorious,
Oh, man.
glorious day.
Yeah, well, we are
But,
certainly covering, as usual, the entire world, right? So we got Asia, Europe, and America. Yes, love it.
Truly global project we have.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So what have we got on the plan for today? What's on schedule?
What sounds good? So first off, today's going to be obviously a special edition episode. We have an exciting guest that'll be joining us a little bit later in the talk here. We're going to talk a little bit about Swych, kind of what's being worked on, what developments are being made, talk about Titano, a little bit of what's going on that side. And then we'll also talk about, hey, I mean, we have that whole amazing incubation thing going on, right? We got to dive into that, maybe answer some questions around it. And then of
Fantastic.
course go from there. We'll go as we go on, you know. But
Love
yeah,
it. Love it.
I say
Just a note.
go on.
I'm sorry, Simon. Just on a quick note, with all the craziness that's going on around the industry right now. Remember two things. Number one, keep your tokens off these exchanges. That's number one. And number two, unfortunately, this is crypto. And I have a friend who I talk about off and on, who's a crypto whale, and he's always reminding me like these times are the times to be patient and look for opportunities. Because no matter how crazy it looks, it's going to come back stronger. And these are the times when you can really set yourself up to do extraordinarily well things turn. So be careful, but also know that this is a part of crypto, and we're going to get through it, and we're all going to get through it together.
Very well said, David. And just to piggyback on that, I think something should be noted. We might be a little afraid of those centralized exchanges, but DeFi has held up surprisingly well, during this period, and that goes to show that this is the reason DeFi was created in the first place. And the very fact that we're in a room right now talking about the project and the project growing and the developments and the updates, and we're talking directly to the community. Well, that's what DeFi is about. You're not talking to one guy up there who you never actually get the chance to speak to, and he's making all these decisions. This is a community project, and everyone's part of it. And as you say, David, looking at new opportunities during these times, because as those big gigantic companies, corporations fall, this space is still growing, still developing, and still moving along, chugging away nicely.
Well said. Well said. All right, Summit. Sorry to interrupt there. Get on with the
No,
stuff.
you guys have way better than I could say some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. But yeah, it's definitely, the markets have been crazy. I mean, as a whole, we've seen it just in the past 7 days. So I mean, just be careful out there. Be careful with everything out there. But as a community, I think we're holding pretty strong together. As a community, that's what makes us all special, here, and keeping together and helping each other out. And just got to keep that same community-driven mentality together, and we'll get pretty far together. But yeah, let's dive into, I would say, the meat and potatoes of everything here. Let's talk about Swych. Let's talk about what's being worked on. I know we've been talking about it in, obviously, like, our weekly summaries, and when we try and talk in the chats and stuff like that. But a lot of people have just been curious as to what is the development phases of Swych, of Titano, things like that.
Got it.
I think basically right now, the main focuses are getting out things like auto tax, which is essentially a way to purchase any type of Titano or any tokens that have a tax feature without having to enter slippage itself. So it automatically calculates that and gets it go through without any problems, which I personally love. It's a great feature, but there's a lot that actually goes behind getting something like this out. It's not a quick button click. There's some technical elements that go into making sure that everything works smoothly with it and properly. But that is a main feature. That's something that's coming out soon. Another is dark mode. I know John and I have talked about this in the past, and we talked about how dark mode, of course, is a lot harder than just inverting the colors. So there is dark mode that's going to be coming out, which will be super helpful for all of those who don't like looking at light mode. I guess is the best way to put it. For all of our night seekers or people who just cannot stand light mode, we will finally be getting dark mode on Swych, which will be a super great benefit there. Other things happening are just some UI updates, some sidebar changes and such. And then farming and charts are on the list as well. Those are still in the works, still being developed. I think people were asking like, "Hey, is that still happening?" Because we haven't heard anything. Still very much happening. Still very much being made. Got pushed back a little bit as we work to get some quality of life improvements before major updates. So they will be coming. It will be released. It's just taking a little bit longer than anticipated because, again, we want to get quality of life improvements out first before doing those just major jump releases on there. That's as far as like the development side. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on stuff like that. Haven't really dived into the incubation side because I know that's the exciting part, but we'll dive into that in a little bit.
Right.
But anything you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I have to talk a little bit about it. I've got, and I'm sure John, I'm sure some of you as well, gotten questions around adding new projects onto Swych. And what I'm saying, and what I've been saying is we're actively doing that. We are under no illusions about, the market that we're in right now, and having been in so many conversations about moving liquidity, and, joining Swych, we always have looked at it as a job for us to take on. So we're in a bunch of conversations about it, and what those conversations are entailing really kind of goes back to how we position Swych in the marketplace, right? So John has spent a lot of time looking at, with so many DEXs on SC, how do we differentiate this project from the others? And what our position is that we are what we're an active DEX. Where DEX is typically a passive website where you go in, you interact with it, maybe you swap some tokens, maybe you some farming, some staking, and then projects come to the DEX and they interact with the DEX in a passive way. Also, they may put their tokens up there for liquidity. And what we've decided to do is to be the first DEX that's active. It actually interacts with the users in the project in such a way that it can be different to different projects and different users. From a project standpoint, we've added a lot of services that can help them grow. We mentioned the burning of native tokens, which is a big deal, especially for tokens that have inflation, right? Along with that, we've got the lowest fees in the industry. But beyond that, we also creating custom services for a particular project. And so if a project has a specific need, or if they're at a certain time in the growth stage, they might need certain things. And it's very, very flexible. So having these conversations with existing projects and with new projects, we'll talk a little bit about later. Again, with the idea of creating an alternative type of a DEX that has additional features. And we'll all see this at some stage also for users of the DEX. There'll be other things that come in that are bespoke or custom products or custom projects or custom approaches to utilize the DEX. So, as we're talking to, again, existing projects and new projects, it's finding that set of features, that set of benefits that fits ideally with them, that gets them to move over to Swych. So it's a work in progress summit. John and I are on it every day. And let me just add, we're not just, because you can never tell exactly how or when that will happen. What we can control is what we're doing, and we'll talk about in a bit with Unico, which is, looking for projects that sort of fit ideally with what we want to have. And also the third element is creating our own projects. We're also looking at creating our own projects that we can launch through the DEX, right? And create the value that we like to see the specific type of project, specific type of relationships, specific types of wins and stories that then other projects can see and go, wow, that's interesting. That happened on Switch. So it's active. There are a lot of conversations going on. Some of them are advanced in terms of development. There's some projects that John and I specifically are working on that are development projects that you're going to see in the next couple of weeks that will come on to Switch. So it's very, very active, very dynamic, a lot of great stuff going on.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, there is a lot in the work that I think people don't see, there's a lot that gets done behind the scenes. And I promise all of you there is things being done. So it's very much happening. It's just we don't share every step of it because a lot of it's just technicality stuff. But soon we're going to see more projects. We're going to see more growth. We're going to see more expansion to the ecosystem. And it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to really bolster everything here. It's going to affect everything that puts us in a better or more positive position to impact, our price, our community, sentiment, growth. Everything will be positively impacted as we continue expanding and continue to add more and more projects that are getting them on board. But that just kind of wanted to touch on the Switch type of stuff there. Unless, John, was there anything else that you wanted to add before we move into like Titano stuff?
No, I think you guys have covered it. David, your mic is a bit buggy. I don't know if it's when you move or something. It goes in and out every now and then. Just getting a few notes from our audience. So I don't know if you just want to plug it in again or check it.
Let me see.
No, that's great.
Turn it on and off.
Yeah, off and on.
Better?
Reset.
I actually just pulled it out and put it back in. How's that? Better? Is it any better?
It actually sounds better. Up and there it went.
No, it's intermittent clicking. I don't know if it's on the if it's hitting something. Is it attached to your collar or something? I'm not sure.
No, I'll tell you what. Let me use a different microphone and let me see. You guys know that I'm not at my normal place, so I'm improvising here.
Well, let's do this. So we'll jump into the Titano side of everything here. While David gets his headset or everything fixed on that end, if that's all right. And we'll kind of go from there. So let's talk about Titano. And I think, obviously our shining glory here, Titano, right? A lot of people are wondering what is next, what's being worked on. We have a big focus on Switch and things like that. I think the biggest thing to also keep in mind is Switch and Titano are one and the same, right? It's within the same ecosystem. They're both benefiting each other. Both of them growing together is the goal. Now people are of course wondering specifically what is going on with Titano. What are we doing on that end? And as far as like what's going on, I mean, recently we've come out with Last Block, our latest game and things like that, and we've heard a lot of feedback on that, adjusting things as far as Last Block goes. We're also looking into expanding potentially TSP. I've heard a lot of feedback around that and heard a lot of people love TSP, and I personally love it as well. Anytime that you can put tokens in and get a BUSD as a reward is phenomenal. Also, it helps out that protocol. But I think the biggest thing with Titano is that Switch integration. Now that we're going to be getting more projects on Switch, we're getting our first project coming to Switch, and we're incubating as well. Any fees that are gathered from those transactions, I should say, non-native token type of thing, any fees that we get that are used back for Switch, we can throw back into buyback burns, development costs, things like that. And those all come back towards Titano and, of course, help out all of our amazing Titans, help bolster our price, help create stability, deflation, things like that. The goal right now, of course, is combating inflation, so becoming more deflationary every single day. With all the utilities that we have, we're combating them as best as we can, as fast as we can. So we have, of course, Last Block, Play, Lottery. Even we have Bet Swirl games. We have TSP. We have a bunch of utilities that are actually within the Titano ecosystem. And now it's just kind of harnessing those, getting the word out on those, making them more enticing, adjusting them as needed. We've heard lots of feedback on Lottery and making that, more enticing and more exciting for people. So right now we're working on, of course, expanding Switch to benefit Titano, but we're also working on adjusting and altering some of those utilities and taking the feedback to improve them in the future and then make them more exciting for all of you. Of course, marketing is always an ongoing thing, spreading the word of Titano and getting it out there and sharing it amongst the crypto world, getting some more information on there, making us more well known. Our beautiful marketing team has been great at getting some articles out that we've already posted. I want to say one was on Coinpedia and the other one was Finance Magnates. Both of them were phenomenal. So super great on getting stuff there. But yeah, it's really just coming down to continuing to do what we've been doing, continuing to develop, continuing to adjust and listen to the feedback that you guys have been providing over the weeks and months while we come out with these utilities. But I'm happy to pass over the mic here if somebody else wants to chime in.
Well, a big piece of news really is we're about to be a 1 year old, right? It's on the 17th, I believe. Titano will turn 1 year old, which is fantastic.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Rarely achieved feat in in DeFi, and to your point, Summit, all this stuff is going on, and people sometimes say, where is it? But of course, if you're already in the project, you're probably not seeing the things which are attracting new users. If you are in the project, as you say, we've added countless features in the last few months. Last block, TSP, the stable pool, Swych itself, the rebrand of Swych, and now coming up, we're going to talk about the incubation. But just in and of itself, Titano works. It as a protocol, it has worked. It functions perfectly. It's worked throughout. And had a great statistic from Pickless the other day. If you invested $2,000 on the day of launch, you'd currently have approximately $1 million. And so, investing at 0.0002, I believe it launched at, we're currently at just under 0.0001. The numbers add up. Please go ahead and check them. But you'd have a good return on your investment right there. So, Titano in and of itself works, despite the inflation or the inflationary perspective. And everything we're doing now is to support those people that are in the project and make it continue to work. So yeah, very excited about what we've done and extraordinarily excited about what's to come. We're growing. It's no longer just a simple token. It's now a lot more.
Wow, that's excellent. Can you guys hear me? Is it any better? I've switched.
It's the same.
No pun intended.
We'll live with it. It's the same, David. We'll live with it. Don't worry. Okay.
As long as you guys can make me out. The other thing I wanted to add is that in terms of what's going on, looking at Titano, our anniversary, it seems like it's only been a month, but it has been a year. But also we have a great understanding of how this thing works, and it can't be overstated how Titano was, leading this whole revolution and discovering what all of this is. And so I think that's a big deal. It's a big thing to understand, having survived all of this and having lived through all of it and gotten better and stronger as we've gone on. And, a lot of this is largely due to our amazing community. You guys sticking by us through the thick and thin, through the, really high highs and, and some of the lows that have happened. But we're still here and we're getting stronger. We have, as mentioned, been working with the marketing company, the outside marketing company, and they now have all of the assets that they need in terms of being able to fully go on marketing. If you take a look, as example, of some of the latest things we've done, like the Swych branding and all sort of stuff, that's this outside marketing firm that we're working with. We've also now put in place an internal Titano marketing company, or I should say division, that John and I are overseeing. And I'm happy to report that all of the three people involved are all Titans. And we're going to have them here also, Summit, on Titan Talk. So the Titans can talk directly with them and they can tell you what they're doing and how excited they are. The last video, I don't know if it got put up, the video with Unico and Titano and Swych. That was a video that they created, and it got created really, really quickly. Did an excellent job. So it's allowing us to have two sets of marketing, one with the bigger stuff and one with the, last minute, we got to get this out quickly and it's got to be high quality. And it's by Titans who understand the protocol, who love the project, who can add, additional ideas from a marketing perspective based on knowing the project so well. So these are exciting things that are going on, and they directly impact Titano. Just wanted to add
100%.
that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, you got me excited when you said they're coming on Titan Talk.
Yep.
So
yeah, they're gonna come on.
I can finally bring them to the people and get the excitement flowing and get everybody's questions answered on all that good stuff. But I mean,
Yes.
I've seen the stuff that they have made, and oh my gosh, it is extraordinary. The videos, the banners.
Right.
I mean, even the thumbnail that you see today. I mean, things like that. Though it's all really well done, really gorgeous looking, and we're really excited to have them on board and really share things and market out to the world.
Yeah, they're amazing, and their also enthusiasm is amazing. One guy's a really creative writer, one guy's a really creative visual guy, and the other person is more of an analyst type. So he's gonna, he's putting all of the other sort of the back end stuff together and the approaches to different marketing campaigns, social media marketing campaigns, email marketing, our blog, building up databases, all of those things. So they're all working in harmony together. And yeah, it's really, really exciting. So they're going to be here. And in other news, the marketing company, the outside marketing company that we're using, they're also coming on Titan. They've agreed.
That is exciting. I'm sure people want to hear that. I mean, people will always ask, they're like, is there a marketing company? Are they real? Are they real people? Yes, they are very real.
Yes.
They are very, very real. But as a big company, they are doing a lot. A lot of it is prepping things to get out. There's a lot of planning that goes into marketing. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction on a lot of things too. So, as now we have that plan in effect here, you'll start to see more and more things come out. You'll start to see more articles. You'll start to see more influence, start to see more broadcasting of just Swych and Titano out there. It takes a while to plan that, to figure out what's the best strategy, attack of marketing. And that's what they've been doing all this time is getting that plan and getting all of that put together. But yeah.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. So what do we aim for, again, having the internal marketing company come on this week, and then next Titan Talk, and then the one after we'll have the outside marketing company.
I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. That's the plan.
Let's do it. That's the plan. All right. So you heard it first. We'll get the marketing team on here. We'll have an amazing Titan Talk with them. But I think we got to switch gears into some other more exciting stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes,
maybe
indeed.
Talk about a little incubation going on here. Is that right? I think we have had the honor of meeting an amazing team, an amazing project called Unico, and they have been incredible. Their developers are amazing. Their project looks astonishing, and I know that we talked with them. We wanted to get them onto the launch pad, so we got them on the launch pad. But then we switched gears a little bit. We went the incubation route, didn't we?
Yep. Yes,
and
indeed.
So a lot of exciting stuff around there. But I say let's bring on our special guest. Maybe introduce them to the world. I shouldn't say the world, but maybe the Titano community.
Here we go.
So I want to bring up the 7 from Unico. Welcome to Titan Talk. You are now live. People can hear you. I wanted to send you a chat message to give you like a few second heads up before I just threw you on here, though. So I was making sure I lead it. Yeah, just lead it a little bit, as much as I possibly could, so it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm live now.
We're always ready, no worries. Thank you, Summit. Thank you, David. Thank you, John. Thanks to everyone for having me here. It's really a huge pleasure, a huge honor to be here with you Titans, to be here with your community. It's really a wonderful thing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. It's so wonderful to be like on a global chat right now. Isn't this amazing?
Wow.
How technology is allowing us to communicate from the whole globe, and it feels like we're all here together, but we are so distant so far, and it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
isn't it like wonderful
welcome.
that crypto? Yeah, sorry.
No. Please finish your thought.
Yeah, and I was just on the thing like communication. The internet allows us to communicate, to talk from the different parts of the globe, and like crypto and DeFi in particular allow us to also collaborate, to work together, to build together, even though we're so far away. And it's so amazing that like teams and communities from completely different parts of the world and are here together and building this whole ecosystem and like making huge things together. I think this is wonderful. This is a huge opportunity that this time is giving us, and we are so lucky to be here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, crypto is one of the wonderful things about crypto. You know, you make friends all around the world, and it breaks down barriers, colors and sex, and backgrounds and religions, and all those things don't matter here, right? It's just a common desire to have a better planet and help each other and build something and be a part of something, a community. I wanted to speak a little bit about how this happened, and some of it you brought up. That it initially was a launchpad project and still is, but then we went into incubation. And the reason behind that, Unico and incubation is innovation, right? Titano is an innovation company. And as I've said, we have never stopped looking at other innovators and opportunities that could be created to get involved with those innovators. And when Unico was looked at, and their approach to rebasing and taking so many new elements and connected them to create a different experience with the rebase, it ended up being something that Titano looked at not just from, again, a launchpad standpoint. You know what, this is the kind of project that we want to see successful because it furthers the Titano model. And that was the foundation of it. It started with, again, I said this months ago, that means that Titano has to do is partner, right? We've got to start finding good partners, good people, right, who have an interest in building and innovating and, taking things to the next level. And that created the foundation for the relationship with Unico. And then finding that project is what it just became obvious to everyone. With what I mentioned earlier, that Titano's not just waiting for projects to come to us, the types of projects we'd like to see on Swych. We're going to go out and we're going to either create those ourselves, or we're going to partner with those projects in such a way, again, this customized approach for DEX, right, the active DEX, to then support those projects before, at launch, and then even after launch. Like, we envision the relationship with Unico to be closely held relationship that continues on, where we can build things together, share things together, and as a result, more revenues created. It supports Swych, it supports Unico, it supports Titano, and now we're building this ecosystem that we've all been talking about. So that's the foundation of Unico and Titano's relationship and why it's developed into this incubation. We believe in this project. We believe that this project should have the right support, and by having the right support, it can thrive even in this particular marketplace. The way the market is right now, we can do extraordinarily well with it. So again, Summit, I just wanted to give that foundation. How did we get here, right? And why this particular project? Hopefully that helps.
Oh gosh, yeah, it definitely helps. I mean, I got to speak with the Seven at the very beginning and hit it off right off the bat on that one. I think, what was it? We had a blue screen of death there when we were trying to talk.
that was so crazy. Yeah, well, it feels like it was such a long time ago, but it wasn't even so far back. Yeah, but was so lucky to have this conversation with you, and like from that conversation, everything started, and look at where we're now. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I mean, it's very
like
exciting.
Everything started from a listing, and from our application on the Swych DEX, and from there on, it's been amazing to meet more, to know each other more, to get the teams together, And by getting the discussion rolling, we noticed all the contact points between Unico and Titano, Swych, and it's been so amazing to be able to be in this together. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if I could ask, actually, Seven, what was it that first brought you to Titano? What was your journey to get here, and why did you guys choose Swych? We'd love to hear. I know I'm sure the audience would love to hear too.
100%. Yeah, like initially, you all know that we were not planning to list on Swych. Initially, we were planning to list on PancakeSwap, I guess, like most of the projects do. And then we were keeping up with the current state of DeFi. We were taking a look at everything that was happening everywhere in DeFi, and we got our eyes on Swych, and we started investigating a little bit about Swych. We started learning about all the features, how the DEX works, about the incubation program. Well, that was a little bit later, but first of all, like the way that the fees are handled in Swych is it's such an innovation, like we've never seen a DEX do things like Swych before. As you said, it's an active DEX, so it's always evolving, and that's first of all an awesome thing. But an important point is that having the DEX fees burned and being a deflationary DEX is a truly amazing feature for a protocol like Unico. Unico aims to be as deflationary as possible in the long term. We plan for a very long-term passive income, and any feature that we can implement in our protocol that makes it more deflationary is really, really appreciated. So as soon as we found out that Swych was burning the fees, this was a huge pro for us, and we said we can't miss this opportunity. We have to do the application. So we tried to find out how we could get listed on Swych, and then I had that wonderful call with Summit, and from there on, it started, building up, and that's how it all started. But yeah, so the deflationary features were what attracted us, because it goes so well together with Unico.
Excellent. Wow, that's good. So, speaking of Unico, why don't you give a quick overview? What is Unico?
Sure. Unico is, first of all, it's the first Rebound protocol. And I'm sure many people might be asking themselves, what is a Rebound protocol? But you just have to wait a couple more days until the launch, and you'll be able to see that for yourself. And yeah, so we are here to make a new trend, to set a trend in DeFi, to create something new, something that hasn't been seen before. Because I think that in the last few months, even more maybe, the state of DeFi has changed a lot since maybe a couple of years ago, how it was. And we've seen a bit of static projects for some things. And it's so nice to be able to provide a new way of earning passive income in a completely new way that no one has seen before, and to utilize all the features of DeFi, all the features of the blockchain, of Web3 to create a new protocol that offers a new way of having passive income. So talking about Unico is a protocol that earns you a 1% fixed passive income every day. And this passive income is created through and it's created and sustained through a whole set of features that all work together in synergy. We have things like the Rebound itself, which is our greatest feature. It's something that we have developed in-house, and no one has ever seen the Rebound before. I'm sure it will be so exciting when people will see that. And we have the DTP ratio in place, which is a way of making sure that the sell pressure on the protocol doesn't just skyrocket. And so we are limiting the sell pressure. And this allows us to kick in a new feature that is our buybacks and burns, which are quite different from buybacks and burns on other protocols. And they are made so effective thanks to the DTP ratio that allows us to create a huge spike candle, a huge green candle, and then thanks to the DTP, people won't be able, to use that as exit liquidity like it happens with other protocols. So overall, the way all the features work together allow Unico to be a sustainable long-term passive income, and people, I'm sure, will understand this, and they will be so happy to be here so early, because some people think that in a lot of protocols, you have to do pumps and dumps or stuff like that. A lot of people tend to look at DeFi protocols in a very short-term way, but I think that we need to shift the vision of the people. We need to shift the vision of the community towards a more long-term vision. You have to look at protocols, look at projects with a long-term vision in mind. You cannot expect that you get in a protocol and in 1 week, in 1 month, you get rich and you get out. That's not how things should work. And people need to understand that with any protocol, any kind of DeFi protocol, you have to be patient. You have to wait for the team to build the whole protocol and to create the whole ecosystem. And you have to give time to the protocol to do its magic and to create the passive income for everyone. And I'm sure that we are starting to revolutionize DeFi a bit in this aspect, and we are making sure that people shift towards this kind of vision, which is an awesome thing. As I said before, we are not here like to follow the trends, but we are here to set the trends. And I'm sure that many other projects will follow us after we do.
Excellent. It's interesting because we talk a lot about this attitude in DeFi, right? Where people look to get in and get rich quick, and then whenever there's a problem, they run, right? We just saw it again with what just happened with FTX, and now the ideas around some of the other centralized exchanges. And I've always said that it's the fault of the project creators. It's not the fault of the investors, right? They should be afraid, right? Because they've been burned before. We all have. So the project creators need to design things and include in that the communication to potential investors or holders exactly what this thing is. So one of the things that made us really excited was when we talked about this, we talked about the approach and what people should look for and how they should invest in, things like DTP, right? Daily take profit, which I want you to talk about in a second, how it's all based on changing investor mindset, right, around investing in DeFi projects. So for me, it was a really, really big thing and an exciting thing. Can you talk a little bit about the DTP?
Sure. Yeah. The DTP is, as you said, the daily take profit factor that we have implemented in Unico's protocol. And it's a very, very important feature because it shifts the mind of the investor and it removes the human factor from their position, from their investment. Like in normal kind of investing, even in traditional finance, in trading, any kind of investing, you have people that are caught by emotions. They're caught by emotion both when they buy an asset or when they sell an asset all the time. And people, they get caught by other people's action, and they always keep an eye on the market. And many traders don't sleep at night. I'm sure we all know something about that. When you're up late at night looking at the charts, waiting for the right moment to buy or for the right moment to sell, to open or close your position. And this overall, at the end of the day, like it's not healthy for the human beings, right? Because people need to relax. People need peace of mind. They need to sleep at night. And we are trying to make sure that we build a protocol that allows people to sleep at night peacefully, Because with the DTP in place, you won't have huge whales that are going to dump their investment and tank the price and then create a snowball effect where people see the whale dumping and then they start dumping too because they know that other people are going to dump and they want to dump before them. And all of that creates a spiraling effect, a snowball effect. And after all of that, ultimately the price goes down in a healthy manner. And a lot of people get burned by investing, and they think that investing is not good for them, or they think that they were the problem. But sometimes the problem is not the investor or the project, but it's the whole mentality around investing. And people, as I said before, they get caught by emotions. So getting back to the DTP, what it is, it's basically a percentage that the users can sell of their investing every single day. And it gives a sort of limit on the sell pressure that you can have. Well, not all investors will have the same DTP. That can be up to 1%, but the DTP gets slightly reduced if you are a huge investor, because a huge investor like a huge whale will, of course, have a even more higher impact, on the price if they sell their 1%. So we had to come up with a formula, with an equation that calculates the necessary amount of DTP that should be applied to any kind of wallet based on its size. So like a smaller investor will be able to sell up to 1%, but a larger investor can sell a little bit less, down to 0.1%. But if you think about it, 0.1% of a huge wallet can be a lot more than 1% of a small wallet. I think that's quite obvious. So we are both like protecting the small investors, but also giving an advantage to the whales because they can stay in the protocol for longer and they can compound their tokens for even longer. And this way, everyone will be able to harness the power of auto compounding and make sure that at the end of the day, in a long-term vision, everyone is going to profit. without just leaving the profit to just a few investors, and then all the other guys that come after that, they find it difficult to earn their revenue, you know?
Wow, good. I like it. I have a question for you that I know a lot of people, it's on their minds, whether it's in the front or the back of their mind, and that's a rebasing token. I have been the great defender, we all have, of the rebasing token. John and I talk about it quite often. I find myself in, on AMAs or podcasts or whatever, explaining to people just the benefits of a rebasing token. And what we discovered with Titano, right? That, because Titano, set its APY at a fixed number with a rebasing token, it took away the need for the protocol to convince investors that they were going to get value, right? The value came every 30 minutes. It was simple. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to put your tokens on other people's websites. You didn't have to try and figure out, did I do this? Did I stake it properly? When you go to unstake, all of a sudden there are all these conditions where you got to wait 7 days to get your token back. Meanwhile, the project's price is tanking, all of those things. And ultimately, it ended up being an amazing way to distribute your tokens. John talks about it, there's a distribution stage of a project, and that's the tokens getting out into wallet holders' hands. So then the project can build its economy, its ecosystem. But what for you guys about a rebasing token? Was there anything specific, anything other than things that I've highlighted?
Well, like Unico, of course, has some elements of rebase in it, but we don't like to call it a rebase token. We actually call it a rebound token, because it's a whole different take on rebase. It's a completely new thing, and like the rebase, it's somewhere in the smart contract that does some part of the creation of the rewards, but it's not the main feature of the whole protocol. It's like an accessory feature, and so that's why
I'm sorry, Seven. Please transition and explain Rebound. Explain that. Use this as an opportunity. Explain Rebound and what the differences are and the modifications. Because I know the guys, the devs, the Titano devs were really, really excited about it. When they first came to me, that's what they highlighted.
Absolutely. So, as I said, the Rebound is something that was never seen before. So I'm sure that when the devs saw it, they were a little bit amazed, like, what is all this about? Let's learn something about the Rebound. Yeah, basically the Rebound, first of all, it's not a recurring function of the smart contract. It's something that is more of a passive function most of the time. You have the Rebound that is both a read and a write function inside the smart contract. So normally, and most of the time, it's a read function. And what it does is that the Rebound checks the inflation level in the whole ecosystem, in the whole smart contract. And it does that by tracking the supply. It does that by tracking the amount of Unico tokens and the amount of BUSD in the supply. By the way, Unico will be paired with BUSD to have the highest level of stability. And so the Rebound will be tracking the BUSD and the Unico tokens. And from that, with a formula, you can get the inflation that is currently given out with the rewards. And if that inflation gets too high, the Rebound basically cuts the inflation. It makes a deflationary cut of the whole supply. And by doing that, it removes the inflation and brings the whole global inflation level back to the level it was before, the threshold was exceeded. And right now we have that threshold set at 7%. So basically when the inflation exceeds the 7% threshold, you have the Rebound that cuts the supply and then brings it back to the moment before that threshold was reached. It brings it back to 0%, actually brings it a little bit back. And that's the whole magic of the protocol, because if you are able to track inflation and to counteract it in this way, like you will not have an excessive inflation that will snowball and get larger over time. This is a whole different take on like a rebase protocol, like you said, and that's why this is a Rebound protocol, because like the Rebound is a very small sacrifice that everybody makes with the cut of the supply. But at the end, this cut on the supply benefits everyone. It benefits the whole community. It benefits the whole ecosystem, the whole protocol. And ultimately, it benefits even the individual investor. And that's very important. This is why we want to highlight the fact that Unico is here to remove the human factor from investment, like in a positive way. We love humans, and that's why we want to make sure that humans don't shoot themselves in the feet. And that's why we are removing the human factor from it. If you remove this factor, you're able to complete fully thought through investments and not being affected negatively by your emotions, and you will be able to benefit of the rewards, to be benefiting of the APY of everything without having to worry.
Right. You're right, man. It is a huge element. And when you're in that state of mind, the overexcited state of mind, you always make poor decisions, right? You feel as if you have to do something and you make a poor decision. So you're right. If you can remove some of those things and you remove them and put them in the good hands, right? In this case, it's smart contracts that have been well thought through, then better things happen. You have better outcomes.
100%. Yeah, we all know that smart contracts don't have feelings, so they cannot be affected by emotions, and that's always a good thing in trading and investing. We have all seen what happened, like with the recent happenings of FTX and all of that. Like the market is very delicate in this way, because as soon as you have some big news, everybody gets affected by those news, and it creates that usual snowball effect we're talking about.
Right. John,
the interesting thing, I'm listening to everything you're saying. I really recommend if our listeners are tuned in right now, go and have a look at the Unico Finance website, Unico.Finance, and they have their white paper there, the document section. It's really fantastic. Please go through that. It takes you through everything they're talking about, from the self-aware smart contracts to the fixed passive income, auto compounding, DTP ratio, the rebound, all these things. And it's one of the things that all of us on the Titano Switch team looked at when we first got the application, and it was really impressive. I mean, to have it all laid out so professionally. One of the things we look at with all the projects that have applied is how well put together it is, and this is a very, very well put together project. A clearly very experienced team, not just in what you've written and what you've created, but also down to things like the presentation, beautifully done, and all of this adds up. When you're looking at a project to invest in, both as a community DeFi investor or as a project in terms of Switch investing, we're looking at complete packages. You want to minimize the risk, and Unico, I really see in that way. You guys have a fantastic team. I hope you can talk about your team in a minute, but you have a fantastic team, a lot of experience, really well put together, as I've said. And I think this is an excellent opportunity to there's a line you have in your documents. I think it says something about Unico leading the way towards a stable future of collective wealth, and I really like that. The idea that this is stable, and collective. The idea that everyone's coming together to do something together, and it's a long-term idea. So as you're saying, it's not, going back to what you said at the start, David, it's trying to get away from the idea, trying to pull people away from the idea that DeFi is all about a pump and a dump. Throw some money in. Why is my £100 not £1,000 within a week? Got to get off that track and start to realize that if we collectively invest and we put our trust in a smart contract, which is non-emotional, right? Put our trust in something which is decentralized, non-emotional, as opposed to everything we're watching right now, which is collapsing in the crypto space. The FTXs, the big centralized exchanges, which have been handling your money personally so badly. If we can put our trust collectively in this, and you can see it, it's written for you in these documents on Unico Finance's website. You can see it. Put your trust in those things. Invest for the long term, and you're going to get a good return. You're going to get a solid return. Work together as opposed to try and beat the other person out. Try and rush in and rush out before the next person jumps out. You're not going to be able to do it with Unico because that's not the point. Invest there if you want a long-term future. But so I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to say one of the things that really impressed me was when I spoke to you, Seven, your openness, your experience, your level-headedness, your team.
Right.
I'd love for you to speak to your team if you wouldn't mind. I'd love to introduce them here if you can.
Yeah, we can definitely think of that. I'll definitely speak to the team about it. Thank you very much for your words. Like you mentioned that you like the way we are presenting the protocol, and I want to highlight the fact that we are trying to also change the way the DeFi is presented as a whole thing. Because if you look at many DeFi protocols, you see that the way they present themselves is sometimes not very professional. DeFi is often associated with more gaming things, more cartoonish things. And the thing is that when you're investing in DeFi, you're actually investing your money, your hard-earned money. So you shouldn't be investing in, I don't know, a website that has bunnies and cartoonish images and stuff like that. Of course, if they work, they work. But after all, if you're investing money, real money, you have to make sure that you're on a serious professional platform that does serious professional things. And I think it's very important to try to give the whole of DeFi like a new style, a new vision in how the approach should be done regarding like the graphic design, regarding the presentation, the communication, and all of that. Because like if you go to invest in traditional finance, if you go in a bank, for example, you're not going to find the bunnies, the rabbits like on, for example, PancakeSwap. You're going to find a serious presentation in the bank because that's where your money is going, and you want to make sure that your money is safe because you had to work to get that money. Nobody gets free money. And I think it's very important that like with Unico, we are trying to give a whole serious presentation of the whole protocol. And after all, that will help the investors to understand that they are dealing with a serious thing and not just with a cartoon or something like that.
Absolutely. And I think it's something Titano as well, have done very well from the start. Julius and the guys
100%.
and Marty, they've really put forward that professional imaging throughout the structure as well. And when you look at Switch, as you said, the reason you came to us was because of that. It's such a brilliant structure for projects to launch off. Such a great platform and well thought out, well put forward. And David has worked incredibly hard and Summit and the team on communicating that so that everyone understands it. I'd love to know about how many people are on your team, 7, and what does it consist of? You have a marketing guy, right? And could you?
Yeah, it's four people of us in the core team. It's me, Marshall, Oliver, and Deployer. So I'm the chief of operations. I take care of all the main communications of like organizing the announcements, the roadmap, and all of that. And we have Marshall, that is the chief finance. So he takes care of all the finance, the investing strategies, and the budget allocation, and all of that, and even the overall strategies for the protocol. We have Oliver, which is our head of marketing. We also have external marketing agencies like outsourced marketing, but it's very important also to have your internal marketing guy, that takes care of the overall strategy for marketing, the overall planning, like the long-term vision for marketing, on how to communicate the brand and like the awareness of the brand and all of that. And ultimately, we have Deployer, which is our lead developer, and he's taking care of all the development of the smart contract, the website, the app, all of that, all of the technical parts. And we have then our wonderful community guys, and we have 4 community guys that take care of like instructing the community on how the protocol works, on what are the pros of Unico, what are the features, what they mean, how they work. And once we are going to be launched, they're also going to help people in understanding how to invest in Unico and how to maximize the strategy for profit. We also have multiple moderators, and like globally, we are quite a big team. But yeah, in the core team, we are 4 people, 4 community guides, and then the rest is moderators and external marketing agencies and all of that.
Seven, on that note, why did you guys, how did you end up, is this your first protocol you're doing? Why did you end up creating this project? What motivated you and the team?
Yeah, as you said, this is the first protocol we're tackling, and we are doing this as a response to the market, because you as I said before, the DeFi space has changed a lot in the last months or years, whatever. And we wanted to create a different type of DeFi, a different type of investment protocol that allowed people peace of mind. That's the more important thing. Like, so people don't have to be stressed with investing. And I think that everything that has happened in the last few years, including also the coronavirus, of course, including the bear market and all of that, has been quite a big hit on a lot of people's like mental health in some way. It's never nice to have to undergo so dramatic events like the pandemic, like the bear market, and people get stressed, and it's not nice that people are looking at crypto in a different way, during the bear market than they're looking at it during the bull market. But it's like that, during the bull market, everyone is excited, everybody loves crypto, and then the bear market comes, and all of a sudden people don't like crypto anymore. But it's important to understand that crypto, and like the beauty of crypto is there all the time. It's not like crypto changes during the bull or the bear times. Crypto is always the same. Crypto is a wonderful technology. Blockchain is a wonderful technology. And so we wanted to give people also the possibility to have peace of mind, to have an investment strategy, and to have some passive income even during the bear market, which is something quite important, I would say. Because during the bull market, it's actually relatively easy for everyone to get their profits by investing in crypto or DeFi or even in traditional finance for that. But during the bear market, it's difficult, to find good projects, to find good teams. So we wanted to address this necessity from the market, and this was our response.
Excellent. One of the things that we talked about, Titano, the Titano team, was just how this project seemed so well designed for the current market. You've taken a lot of elements, and as you talked about earlier, have them all working in conjunction so that they work well regardless of the market, and that's critical. It really, really is critical. I think that I'm sorry, guys, one second for me. Okay, yeah, I think that going forward, I think that you're absolutely right when you say that this protocol is going to set a standard. I think it's got a great chance of doing that because it's funny when I read through it, what it reminded me of was just I've been looking. It's like someone would bring me a project, and I would try to explain that what's going to be the most exciting is when innovation is leading it. And it's easy to kind of say that, but it's kind of hard to communicate it. I mean, someone either gets it or they don't. And then when I read what you guys were doing and the innovation was right out front, it was so refreshing. As we always say, these are all experiments, right? And but they're getting smarter and they're getting better. And it's going to be innovation that leads this industry. It's not going to be guys like Samuel Bankman-Fried and Voyager and all these people who are just trying to take, whatever they were doing outside of the blockchain and bring it onto the blockchain. It's going to be about looking at the space, like you just described, looking at what's going on, looking at the needs, and designing something specific for those needs. That's what's going to move the space along. That's going to get us to where we all want to go, which is change. So I appreciate the approach that you guys are taking and also the courage of doing it. A lot of people, it's easy to something, right? It's easy to copy something, change your name. Maybe you don't like bunnies. Maybe you put, goats on it or whatever you're going to do. To come up with something new, you know what I mean? To come up with something new and take a new approach, it's not very easy. It's difficult. So yeah,
absolutely.
I started out by saying, Titano. Oh, you're welcome, man. I started out by saying Titano's an innovation company. So once we saw that, it's like, yeah, of course, this is really, really interesting. These guys are thinking. And I know, the guys have talked with you about, hey, man, some of the stuff that you got, we're even looking at it as well. It's interesting. Really, really interesting. And these are the exciting type projects that we are happy to be a part of, and that we want to be a part of to help push through the industry, which again is why it went from just a listing project to an incubation project. The goal is to provide the resources that we can to assist this project to be as successful, as sustained as long as possible. That's what the goal is here. I would add one really important thing that I didn't want to have, and that is this idea around long-term passive income. During my time in Titano, I had a lot of people reach out to me. We all have on this side saying, how should I play this protocol? Should I let my money ride? Should I let it, should I take some out? And my response has been consistent. I can't and I shouldn't tell you what to do with your money. You should decide on your own, what your needs are, what your goals are here, and then you should decide based on that. And where we've advanced to, like if you ask me now after a year, what would I say? I say that most people in this space, the vast majority, want a long-term passive income rather than a land model. That's my feeling based on conversations that I've had. And so that was another thing that really, for me at least, made this like the right step, because now having gone through that, like I couldn't have said that in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, but month 12, that's where this space should be. You're absolutely right. People should be thinking like that and looking for protocols that are demonstrating those types of things, right? I'm talking about the more serious investor, like the Titans. These are the things that are important. Like taking a look at what are they doing for long-term sustainability? Are they considering it? Is it even something that they're thinking about seriously? So I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said. So the protocol starting saying, look, there's this 1%, this DTP, and and it's designed to kind of help you right navigate your way through this protocol to get passive income, and also to have this peace of mind. Very, very important.
Yeah, so it's really interesting listening to what you're both talking about, and talking about now being in a different market, and also this project is prime,
right,
to work in this market. It's funny because you're talking about rebase projects earlier. Obviously, Titano is the original rebasing project, and we launched during a bull market. Just as we were entering the bear, but we launched in a bull market, and really what the rebasing does is it amplifies what you have. So when the buys are coming in a bull market, it amplifies that, right? So it was fantastic. It got what we needed to get done, the distribution phase. It got the word out. Everyone knew about Titano. Every other project copied Titano. And now we moved into that bear market, and then the devs pivoted, as they should have. They started building all these extra utilities, use cases to support the project. It's very difficult when you have a project with an established USP, being the rebasing. You then have to build around that. So that's what they did. They set out to build around that. Everyone's aware of what we do, and then we built around it. Now we have the DEX. We have all these things to support that rebasing token, and it works. As we stated at the start, if you invested on day one with $2,000, today you'd have $1 million. So Titano works. It's a success. Moving forward, we want it to continue to be a success, and that's why we pivoted now to launching other projects on the platform, on our brand new Switch DEX, and the first of which will be Unico, which is built for this next period. This next market as it is now. And the fact we're incubating it, we went one step further. We went one step further than we were going to, because it just looked like such a great project. And I just want to talk to now, if we can, guys, just talk to how it benefits both projects. This partnership, this joint venture, as it were. There are so many pros here. For Titano, of course, there's this initial liquidity investment. Can we talk about that and how we then get the fair launch, and how that creates stability? If we could talk to that, I think people would love to hear about it.
Yeah, I agree. John, take the lead.
I think around. I would love to, but I want to bring Summit
passing the torch.
He's got his notes. So Summit, do you want to start with, how is Titano approaching this? What are you doing in terms of the incubation? What does it actually mean? What are we putting in, and what does Unico get, and how does Unico run from here?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's very exciting. As far as what we're doing, let's talk about what we're doing, how that benefits, of course, Unico, and then we'll talk about how that benefits us. So right off the bat, it is incubation project. So we are definitely making an investment into this partnership here. So Titano and his team is putting in $1 million in BUSD into the project. So that is incredible. So that sets a huge and amazing foundation to build out forward. Of course, that is then multi-sigged on both the LP and the proxy contract with a 3-4 multi-sig. So what that means is requires like 3 keys to turn in order for something to actually happen. 2 of those people on the multi-sig will be from the Titano and Swych team, and 2 of them will be on the Unico team. So that just is an extra layer of security, of course, for those people out there who are always concerned with, what does security look like as far as an investment goes. Of course, we have no questions with the Unico team, but hey, it's a nice thing with when people ask questions like, is there a multi-sig on the wall? It's 100% there is there. Of course, now because that we're getting that initial liquidity going in here, there's no more need for any type of whitelisting. It's going to be a fair launch, which is kind of ties into how that benefits back to us and benefits, of course, Unico as well. But doing a fair launch just means everybody's starting at the same place. It's exactly how Titano launched. Originally, I believe way back in November, Titano was going to be a pre-sale, and then they switched to a fair launch. So kind of a similar route taken there. And then, of course, the Unico team, you guys are not taking any tokens. No team tokens. Nobody gets 0%. Team tokens. 0%.
No one gets them.
Which is nobody gets them. which is great. I know for a lot of investors who are always concerned about is the team going to get a cut? How is that going to look like? And things like that there. So, I mean, right off the bat, Unico, we're super excited about that partnership there. They're of course getting that liquidity boost out of there. They get to launch on Swych, which is giving them that deflationary element, and of course access to the amazing community of all you Titans, and being able to share that community amongst each other. Of course, Unico community then coming back through Swych to Titano as well. But a lot of people also have questions as how does this benefit the Titano ecosystem? How does this help us? And a lot of it comes down to the fact that now you are getting our first project out there. We set a good precedent. We set a good foundation with a good solid project like this. We are sure many more to come. But we're also getting out of this too is with an amazing project here, we're going to see lots of people buying in. We're going to see lots of people making those first purchases through Swych, and those transactions are going to generate fees. And over time, those fees are going to come back to allow us to do buyback burns, development costs, things like that jump straight back into the Titano ecosystem, the Swych ecosystem. And of course, launching on Swych, I'm sure, Unico, you guys have been posting around that you're launching on Swych. I see it in your announcements. I see it everywhere,
Absolutely. We're so proud, so honored.
So, I mean, right there is also broadcasting everything that we are. That is in its sense a level of marketing as well. We get to share who we are and what our vision and goals are, along with, of course, Unico and them sharing their goals and their vision. So it works out in that way there. That you're getting a level of marketing, you're getting a fee collection, and of course Unico is getting a great foundation, a great start, and a great community that comes out of it as well. And together that amazing partnership ensures the growth and success of both of our projects. But I don't know, John, if you want to tap me out here, you want to go in a little bit, up to you.
No, I thought that was fantastic. I couldn't have done it better. I mean, whenever you bring together good people, you're going to get great results. And in this case, we have an amazing team on our side. It's been growing, it's been developing, it's maturing. The project has matured so much now. We're able to bring in new projects. We're able to assist and help new projects, and that's what we want to do here. Unico. Some people say, why are you bringing in competition with your project? It's not competition. It's not. We're bringing someone in that we think will succeed, and then we get the benefits of being an allied project. It's an alliance here where we get co-marketing, we get co-developing, we get to lean on other people. Why not go together, right? There's that saying, as I used before. I like it so much, I'm going to say it again. If you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. So let's partner with great projects. Let's bring them in. Let's share resources, and when they succeed, we succeed. The better Unico does, the better we will do. Do you want to add to that, David? I think for me,
I think you guys both nailed it. That's exactly right. And we've been saying it for months. What we learned when Titano was at its all-time high, and things started cascading. We didn't have any partners. We didn't have anyone to kind of get our back or tell a different story. So even a lot of the communication we were putting out, people go, oh yeah, they're just saying that. being able to have other projects that are working alongside you that you can also build things with as well. These are smart guys, right? Who looked at a project and looked at a set of projects in the DeFi space and came up with something new and innovative. Those are people you want on your team, not opposing them. You want them here. And you guys are absolutely right. Summit, you said it. It sets a great precedent for, again, what I said earlier. We want to show people that we're just not another DEX on BSC, right? BSC doesn't need another DEX, but BSC certainly needs a project that's looking to help other projects succeed. We've got to raise the percentage of successful projects. A lot of great projects just don't have the resources that they need in order to succeed. We want to help with that. We want to help with marketing and positioning. And, we talk with Seven about, communication and all those things. They're critical to these projects. And, again, we believe that with the two teams working together, we can accomplish some great things together and go much further, as you're saying, John, than we ever thought possible here. We are extraordinarily serious about our vision for how we make this project succeed. And this is a critical core part of it, building out things with other people, with other projects, finding the right people. You guys are getting a chance to hear Seven's demeanor, and it's critical. I've said that there are some projects that have come and just by their personalities, they just couldn't get along with Titano. We're not going to be in a situation where we're arguing all the time and people aren't making any sense. It would be horrible for both sides. So this is a relationship that everyone's excited about because of the potential, but also because it has to happen. And Unico recognizes that. Let's go into this space together and let's kick some butt. So that's what the intention is here. And, again, looking directly at the Titans, right? This is what you want to see. We've been talking about this for a year, building an ecosystem. That's what this is. That's what Swych provides. It provides us an ability to build an ecosystem. All the projects don't have to be the same. They don't have to be the same size. They don't have to even have the same goals, but they have to have an ability to work together. And by working together, as you said, John, we all win. We all win.
Absolutely. And in very real terms, if Unico turns over $100 million of volume a day, we do fantastically well as well.
Oh,
so in very practical terms, it's also a win. But
yes,
this is the thing. We want the people that come to the DEX to do very well. And the projects that we incubate, as you say, David, they have to be on the same page. They have to present themselves well, design their projects well, and they do. That's not the same as Titano. It's a different project. It's a Rebound protocol, as Seven was saying. Please, again, let me stress, go and read the documents. It's a brilliant new set of smart contracts. And it's about building community. They will have their own community. We will have ours. And hopefully together, there'll be some overlap. And there will be opportunities to do things together in the future. We already have the lottery there. Hopefully, players will come from Unico as well. And we have TSP, which they're welcome to use. All these products that we bring out for Titano, they're open to everyone, not just the people on our decks. But having Unico here, having that community here, will amplify everything that we say, everything that our marketing puts out, it will be amplified because we're connected. So it's a win-win for everyone. It's a win for both sides here. Everything Unico does, we'll see, and our community sees, and vice versa.
I completely agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. Like you've been covering it so well. The whole point of the partnership is being in this all together, and collaborating and building things together, like joining forces, because you always can build better things and more things if you build together. So it's so nice to be able to partner and to join the forces ultimately. That's very important. Like we've already discussing with the team, like you said, to implement different features in the future. So like the possibilities are endless. When you have two teams like joining and doing things together, that multiplies. It's like auto compounding. Like if you join two teams, it's not like you're only having double the
exactly
people,
right.
You're having a lot more because you're joining forces and the forces compound.
Right. That's very well said.
True. Very true.
Yeah, so we're excited. So let's talk about, John, you laid out a great thing. And Summit, I don't know what's on your list. Are we deviating from your list, or
We
how we
have
looking?
no. We actually my list is kind of complete at this point, so it's up in the air. So if
Great.
there's anything you want
Well,
to add, we are free talk now.
yeah, let's talk about what happens next with Unico. So, Seven, give us some dates. When is the project going to be released? What time of day? What ungodly hour of night do I have to be up in order to buy some? Please let us know.
Yeah, like just a while ago, we were talking about the beauty of being a global project, but then when it comes down to launch times, and that's actually a different story because, yeah, so we will be launching on this Friday the 18th of November at 5 p.m. UTC. So that's London time. Of course, 5 p.m. UTC will be a quite different time. And if anyone is on the other side of the planet, it might be a terrible time. But it's always difficult, to get the perfect time. But I think everyone will be able to attend the launch, and anybody can even just like save, 1 hour of sleep and and get in the launch if you really like the project.
It will be
So
worth it.
absolutely. Yeah. So on Friday the 18th, 5 p.m. UTC, you will be able to go on Switch on this beautiful DEX on the BSC. You'll be able to buy Unico. Like, we will have no limits on how much people can buy. Obviously, it's a fair launch. We're not having a pre-sale anymore. And by being a fair launch, you'll be able to buy either $1 or $100 million or whatever, like any amount you like. And there will be a buy tax. Obviously, the fair launch will be even, like, for everyone, and you will have a 12% buy tax. And then whenever people will want to sell their DTP ratio daily, there will be a 15% tax on that one. And yeah, so it's wonderful to be able to do this fair launch. I really want to take a moment to thank you guys, to thank your team, to thank your whole community, to thank Unico's community, to thank everyone for making this possible, because it's very difficult, especially in a moment like this, to be able to raise such a huge amount of initial liquidity. And it wouldn't have been possible, without this wonderful partnership. And being able to make a fair launch is so important for the future of protocol like Unico, because with long-term vision in mind, it's important to start since the beginning to even out the playing field and to start making things in an equal, in a fair way. And the fair launch is the best way you can start. Obviously, the pre-sale is a beautiful thing for many investors. If you look at it from an individual perspective, from a selfish perspective in some way, it's nice to get in a pre-sale, to get in a whitelist, because you know that you will be having like more multiplicators on the price and all of that. But as I said in the beginning, the vision of Unico is to bring a collective growth, like a stable future of collective sustainable growth. And the only way to do this is to be as fair, as equitable in anything, as transparent as possible. So by having the possibility of having this initial liquidity, this opens up so many future possibilities, because you will have an even playing field since the start. And this will help so much for the long-term vision, for the long-term future of Unico. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Summit.
Yes,
Summit,
sir. I am.
Are you looking at the chats? Do we have any questions?
So the good news is that I feel like every time a question came up, it was actually reworded and thrown right back into the talk. So everything that was being asked was being answered, which was phenomenal. Now there were a few questions that I know were kind of glided over. One was does kind of getting more projects help boost TSP, things like that. So does Unico, does us getting, or Unico, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Does it help bolster our TSP and things like that? Is with any type of additional volume that comes to Switch, we'll see some bolstering of TSP. So the more volume that you will see that occurs on anything Switch related, you'll see a boost happen on that TSP there. Now, as far as how significant that boost will be, just depends on the amount of volume that goes through. So it could be great, it could be amazing for the TSP. It could be just a small little increase. It just depends on volume. So the more volume, the better. We want more volume. Another question that, and Seven, I think this is more directed at you real quick. I I don't mean to bring you back up here, but I think people were asking as far as KYC. I didn't think you guys were KYC, and I think I just wanted to confirm on that. But
yeah, no, we are neither KYC, neither docs. And as I said in the beginning, we are trying to bring back DeFi to a more decentralized, way of doing things. And I think that once you have like wonderful developers with wonderful coding and beautiful smart contracts done the right way, you don't really need to have KYCs or doxing. That wasn't the point of crypto. That wasn't the point of DeFi in the beginning. And why should it be now? Like, we all know that KYC or even doxing it doesn't give you extra security. It doesn't give you extra safety for anything. Look at what happened with FTX or with anything. It happens both in DeFi and in CeFi. It happens everywhere. Like docs teams and KYC teams, people tend to give more value to those kind of teams, but ultimately it doesn't give you any kind of guarantee. And what you should look, because this is DeFi, this is not traditional finance, what you should look is the coding, which you should look is the smart contract, because when you're investing, you're not interacting with people, you're not interacting with other humans, right? You're interacting with smart contracts. So that's where the perfection needs to be. That's why we are having multiple audits, and we already have an audit on our documentation. It's public, and we have multiple audits undergoing, and most probably another audit will be released in these days before the launch, and this will be a huge audit by one of the biggest auditors out there. It's an auditor that also audited Ethereum, the whole blockchain, and I think it's a big name in the industry. Like lately, people tend to put too much attention on things that don't really give you security. But if you put the attention on things like the audits, that gives you really a higher level of security compared to other things. And yeah, that's all.
And to add to that, I completely agree, Seven. And also you have here two teams, so not just one team, but two teams, and you have the multi-sig. And that is leaning into that partnership again. It's, as David said, you have another team to speak for you, and we have you guys to speak for us. It's two teams showing, speaking to the competency of the other ones and looking out for the other ones with the multi-sig, all these
100%.
things pointing to immutable smart contracts and decentralization as it should be. It's communities and collective wealth, to use that phrase again, rather than individuals like Sam Bankman.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm 100% in agreement with everything on there. I mean, KYC, I feel it gives a false sense of security, where in truth, I mean, it's here in the crypto, code is what speaks, and I mean, I know that's obviously, of course, biased coming from teams that have not KYC, but that's the truth. That is really the truth. Is it comes down to the code. It comes down to what you're able to show, and what you're able to prove and bring out, rather than just, yeah, sure, we KYC. That's that, But
yeah, and look to the time, the very fact that we've just celebrated, well, we're about to celebrate a 1-year anniversary of Titano. Look to projects that last and that have stayed and have that power, staying power. That's what you look to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Titano has this huge social proof, this huge historical proof, and like there is no docs team or anything like that. This is the proof that it's not necessary to have a docs team to do great things and to have success in this space.
100%.
It's so wonderful for us to be able to also partner in the multi-sig aspect of this, because this will also give Unico a higher level of trust. We will be piggybacking on Titano's trust, which is huge in this space. Like you are the founders of the first auto staking protocol and everything that comes with it. So if you're not trusted, who is? And it's so good to be in this together, and people will have the security, the real sense of security here, not the fake one given by the KYC. You'll have the real sense of security that a protocol that has been proven for more than 1 year. It's almost 1 year, and by the time we're launched, it's going to be more than 1 year.
Exactly.
Exactly 1 day more than 1 year. And it's wonderful to be able to, give this sense of security thanks to the multi-sig, the shared multi-sig. This is a very important point.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well said. Boy, Summit, I didn't have to say anything on that topic. I'm usually the one right in the middle of it. Very well said, guys. Oh, thank you all for that one.
Yeah. So
all right, Summit, anything
that's
else? Any other questions?
No, that was it. So those were the questions. Like I said, a lot of it was answered through the talk. So that was really, really great. But yeah, I mean, obviously, all of us are here. All of us have our communities. We're watching them like hawks, and we're waiting for those questions to roll in, and we're happy to answer them as they do roll in. So if there's nothing, that you guys can think of now, that's not a problem. We're here to answer questions as they come through. But yeah, nothing else on my end, unless you guys wanted to close it off with any closing statements here, some Olympic go around the tunnel type of thing,
I just want to encourage people, get your questions together. You can, as Summit's mentioned, you can bring it to us. You can go on to the Unico Discord and talk with them, which I recommend you do. We have high hopes for this, and this again is what Titano should be doing. We're the OGs, so we need to be leading, and this is leading. This is leading the space, as the project always has, and we hope nothing but the best for all of this. And again, we're putting time and energy and effort and resources to ensure that happens. We have 100% faith in Unico and what they're doing. It has been a pleasure working with you guys. And we're really, really, really excited. So I just want to leave on that note. And one more thing, I want to end on what I started with, which is, please, everyone, Titans, be cautious about what's going on in the space right now. Be reluctant about some of these, these bounces that we're seeing. We are in a really tough situation right now. We should expect that this what's happening is going to cause a contagion, which actually this is really connected to. This whole thing with FTX started way back when Terra went down, and he was going around buying all these bad companies. And I was talking to John, I'd be like, why is this guy buying this terrible company? And it turns out he was buying it to cover up the fact that he had so much money in those projects. And so we just have to be a little bit cautious, but don't get down on crypto. Crypto's amazing. But what you're seeing is not crypto. You're seeing bad actors doing what they do. So I just want to encourage everybody and give you guys some hope and strength and let you know that we're here. You're appreciated and loved. Thank you guys, as always, for your support and your faith. And we are going to execute our vision together. Thank you, guys.
And I also want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you, David, for your words. Thank you, John. Thank you, Summit. And thanks to the whole Swych and Titano ecosystem for making this huge thing possible. This wouldn't have been the same without you. And we are so proud, so honored to be building this together. Thank you very much to all from the whole team and from the whole community of Unico.
Thank you so much, Seven. From me, nothing except fair launch on Friday, the 18th of November. It's 5 p.m. UTC. Make sure you're there. And it's a chance to invest in right from the ground floor. There are no team tokens. There are no private sale tokens. No one's ahead of you. Just jump in, put your money there, and as again, take some time, go and read those documents. They are brilliant. Everything's really well laid out, very well presented. It's all very clear. And to quote that line, I'm reading it now: the financial revolution is here, and Unico is leading the way toward a stable future of collective wealth. So let's get together and let's do this together.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for attending. This will be obviously reviewable on the YouTube channel. Of course, thank you to all the communities that stopped in, all the Titans, and of course everybody from Unico's community as well. Seven, thank you so much for coming on. Can't wait to have you on probably sometimes in the future, and potentially maybe the whole team, maybe sometime. We'll see.
We'll see.
Thank you. But thank you all so much for coming in. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for the Titan Talk, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks again for everything. Thanks for having me here. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.